In Kitrosskaya, and you have prepared a statement that you want to make, but let me just ask you as a way of getting you into it, to tell me your story. What is it that has put you in this situation that you're in now, and what are you trying to do about it?
I want to begin with...
You can begin with whatever you like.
All right. Before me is an American magazine, Newsweek, the article that attracted my attention, Living with Cancer, the story about the courageous fight of an American woman, Helen Bartlett. The fight that she had, that she was able to put up because of the support of all American society, of all her family, which is natural enough, her friends, and the army of medical workers, the doctors and the nurses. Being a cancer victim myself, I was reading this article with more than usual attention. All my feelings were in a turmoil. But I'm not going to compare Helen's life and mine, because it's completely beside the point. And then it's something you cannot compare, and then it's not the subject of my talk today, of my interview today. What I'm going to talk about, really, is that cancer is something that the patient has to fight in order to survive. And I want to tell you how I'm trying to fight it. But before, I want to say a few words about myself, for you to understand.
Okay, yeah.
But before I go into it, I want to introduce myself and to tell you who I am. My name is Kitrosskaya-Meiman Kitrosskaya. I'm 52. I'm Jewish. I'm a Muscovite. I was born in Moscow and have lived here all my life. I've never left the Soviet Union. Have never been allowed to. I went through college in Moscow, majored in English, and for almost 30 years, I was a teacher of English. I must say that I had a pretty good job by our standards. I'm a Master of Science. I've written a few college textbooks of English. I've translated a few books on art from Russian into English. That is, I was fairly successful in my professional career until 1979, when my son's family and I decided to emigrate to Israel. I had to give up my job. You probably know that in our country, the desire to emigrate is considered an unforgivable treachery, and that if a person wants to emigrate, he's thought to be not worthy of any decent job, not to mention teaching job. So I quit my job and we started waiting. 2 years passed before we were summoned to the Moscow Visa Department, and an official told me very pompously and importantly that we are denied permission for immigration. Asking a question why is irrelevant, but everybody does. We also asked this question and got an answer: your relatives in Israel are not close enough for you to go and join them. And that was that. We became refuseniks and joined a very big group of people in Moscow or elsewhere whose life is really very hard and very miserable. By the way, we are non-existent because our authorities, when asked about us, always say we don't exist. I would love to talk about the life of refuseniks, but not now. So In 1981, I became married to Kitrosskaya-Meiman, a professor of mathematics, a doctor of science, himself a refusenik since 1975, an active fighter for Jewish emigration, and also a fighter for civil rights. Then, a member of the Moscow-Helsinki Watch Group. In 1983, I fell ill with cancer. People know now so much about cancer. They also know that the blow is always more or less unexpected. I put my hand on my neck, on the back of my neck one day, where I have a very big cavity now, so it's very hard for me to hold my head for a long time, to hold up my head, and discovered a lump, and that was it. My first diagnosis was wrong. I had a horrible experience with an operation under local anesthetics. And 5 months later, I had another tumor at the same site. This time, I went into the All Union Cancer Center for an operation, had it in 1984 in May, went to recuperate, and had another tumor by November 1984, and another third operation in January 1985. Now, to the point of my story. My diagnosis is a sarcoma of the soft tissues at the back of my neck. It's very, as the doctors say, it's very atypical. The site is not typical. The size of the tumor was not typical. And besides, it's very dangerously close to my brain and to the spine. It's actually on the spine, but is not touching it, or was not. The doctors here are ready to operate me, and they have operated me 3 times already. But they cannot offer